The Zarathian battlecruiser Sovereign Claw hung in the darkness of space like a predator studying its prey. Commander Elsa stood on the bridge of the human warship Defiance, her ice-blue eyes fixed on the tactical display, as the alien vessel completed its third aggressive scan of their hull. "Ma'am, they're charging weapons," Lieutenant Farrett called out from his station, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The young officer's jaw was set tight, betrayal burning in his dark eyes. The Zarathians had been Earth's trading partners for nearly a decade. This unprovoked hostility made no sense. Elsa's expression remained calm, though her knuckles whitened as she gripped the command chair's armrest. "Hold position. Do not return fire unless I give the order." The Defiance was a Guardian-class destroyer, one of humanity's newest designs. To the Zarathians, it must have looked like easy prey compared to their massive dreadnought, which outweighed the human ship 5-1. What the aliens didn't know was that humans built their warships differently. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the reptilian features of a Zarathian war commander. Its scales were a deep crimson, a color that denoted high military rank. The alien's vertical pupils contracted as it spoke in heavily accented standard, "Human vessel. Your ship is now property of the Zarathian Empire. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will be met with immediate destruction." Farrett shot up from his seat. "They can't be serious. We're in neutral space." Elsa raised a hand, silencing him. She leaned forward, her voice steady and cold. "War Commander, you are making a grave mistake. The Defiance is a registered military vessel of the Terran Alliance. Any act of aggression will be considered an act of war." The Zarathian's mouth curled into what might have been a smile. "Your alliance is weak. We have scanned your vessel. Primitive fusion drives. Basic energy shielding. Your armor is barely 2 meters thick." It leaned closer to its own screen. "Our weapons will cut through your hull like air. This is your final warning." The transmission cut out. Elsa stood slowly, smoothing down her uniform. Around her, the bridge crew waited with bated breath. They were outnumbered, outgunned in traditional terms, and far from any reinforcements. But Elsa had served in the Earth Defense Force for 15 years. She'd fought pirates in the outer colonies and survived the siege of Titan Station. She knew something the Zarathians didn't. "Farrett, status report." The lieutenant's voice was steady despite the tension. "All systems nominal. Reactor at 30%. Weapons cold but ready to activate. Point defense grid online." "Good." Elsa walked to the tactical station and pulled up the scan data. "They think they know us. They scanned our hull and measured our armor. They calculated our power output." She turned to face her crew. "What they don't understand is that humans don't build ships to look impressive. We build them to survive." She pointed at the display. "Our armor isn't just 2 meters thick. It's 2 meters of titanium ceramic composite with self-sealing layers and reactive plating. Our primitive fusion drives?" She smiled grimly. "They're efficient. We can run them at combat power for weeks without refueling. And our weapons?" "Ma'am, they're moving into attack position," Farrett interrupted. "Let them come." Elsa returned to her command chair. "Charge the railguns. Bring reactor to full power. Deploy all countermeasures." "And Farrett?" "Yes, Commander." "Open a channel to Fleet Command. Tell them the Zarathians just made the biggest mistake of their civilization's history." The Sovereign Claw unleashed its opening salvo. Plasma bolts, each carrying the energy equivalent of a small nuclear weapon, screamed across the void toward the Defiance. "Brace for impact!" someone shouted. The bolts struck the human warship's shields, which flared brilliant blue and held. The Defiance shuddered but maintained position. Before the Zarathians could fire again, Elsa gave the order that would change everything. "Fire!" The Defiance had 6 railguns mounted along its spine, weapons the Zarathians had dismissed as primitive kinetic launchers. What their scans hadn't revealed was that each railgun could accelerate a tungsten projectile to a significant fraction of light speed. The tungsten rounds were invisible to the naked eye, moving too fast to track. They simply appeared to materialize inside the Zarathian shields, which were designed to stop energy weapons, not solid projectiles moving at relativistic velocities. The first round punched through the Sovereign Claw's forward section like it was paper. The second struck the engineering deck. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth rounds walked a line down the alien dreadnought's spine, each impact releasing energy equivalent to multiple tons of explosive. Secondary explosions blossomed across the Zarathian vessel's hull, as atmosphere vented into space and power conduits overloaded. Target their weapon systems, Elsa ordered calmly. Disable, don't destroy. I want survivors to deliver a message. Farhat was grinning now, his earlier tension replaced by fierce pride. Yes, ma'am. The Defiant circled the crippled dreadnought like a shark, its railguns firing with mechanical precision. Each shot was calculated to cause maximum damage to weapons and propulsion, while avoiding the crew sections. It was a surgical dismantling of a ship 5 times its size. Within 3 minutes, the Sovereign Claw was dead in space, bleeding atmosphere and debris, all weapons offline. Elsa opened a channel to the Zyrathian vessel. The war commander appeared on screen again, its crimson scales now dulled with what looked like shock or fear. War commander, Elsa said quietly, you scanned our ship and thought you understood us. You saw our armor and called it weak. You measured our power and called it primitive. She leaned forward. You made the mistake of thinking that humanity builds weapons to intimidate. We don't, we build them to win. The alien said nothing. You will return to your empire, Elsa continued, and you will tell them what happened here. Tell them that the humans gave you every chance to walk away. Tell them that we offered peace and you chose war. Her voice hardened to steel. And tell them that if they want to test humanity again, they should remember this moment. Remember that the small ship you thought was prey became the predator. She nodded to Farhat, who cut the transmission. Ma'am, Fleet Command is responding, the communications officer said. Admiral Chen wants a full report. Send it, Elsa said, settling back into her chair. And send a message to all human vessels in this sector. The Zyrathians have shown their true colors. Until further notice, we're at condition yellow. Trust no one. As the Defiance turned toward home, leaving the crippled alien warship behind, Farhat approached Elsa's chair. Commander, permission to speak freely? Granted. That was brilliant. The way you held fire until they committed, the precision of those shots. He shook his head in admiration. You knew we'd win from the start, didn't you? Elsa allowed herself a small smile. Farhat, I've been in this uniform long enough to know one truth about humanity. We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest or the smartest, but we're survivors. We adapt, we endure, and when someone threatens us, she looked at the view screen where the stars stretched endlessly before them. We remind the universe why it should have left us alone. The Defiance jumped to FTL, leaving behind a crippled dreadnought and a lesson the Zyrathian Empire would never forget. Humanity had been provoked. That was their mistake.